Speaking, and welcome to this video. Right, another Tyranid Learning Curve vid for you, and today we're looking at the Haruspex from the Elite section. Now I'm having to show you a picture from the codex because I don't actually own the model. The model is a dual kit, so you can make this one and also the exocrine. Now when I get mine, we'll definitely be magnetising mine up for both options. But for now, let's have a look at the stats of this guy. So he is a weapon skill 3 and ballistic skill 3, strength 6, toughness 6, 5 wounds, initiative 3, 3 attacks, leadership 7, and a 3+ save. 160 points. He's stat wise in sort of Tervigon territory. But unlike the Tervigon, where it's a bit more of a defensive creature, this guy is designed to be a close combat monstrous creature. Now we can tell that from the stats really, because it has, shooting wise, it just has a 12-inch grappling tongue, which is a strength 6 AP2 single shot. It is precision shots on a roll of 6 when you roll to hit, but yeah, I mean, not that great really. So it's not really a shooting guy. It does have crushing claws, so you've got your +1 to strength, armor bane. You've got acid blood built in, not as an upgrade, so you actually get it for free. So for every unsaved wound your enemy takes in close combat, they need to take a leadership check. And if they fail, they take a strength 5 AP2 hit that ignores cover. It's fearless, but it isn't a synapse creature, so you will have to keep it within synapse range. Although it does feed, so you've got to use the feed table, you might get a good roll. But on the whole, you'll probably want to try and keep it in synapse range. It's a feeder beast, which means that if it inflicts a wound, you recover a single wound at the end of the phase, which is pretty nice. It's like a regeneration. And has rapacious hunger. So on the turn that you charge, for every unsaved wound that you do, you immediately make an additional attack. Now this doesn't work for attacks from the tail, which you can buy separately, or from your acid blood attacks, or from your hammer or wrath attacks either. So additional stuff that you can take, you've got the adrenal glands and toxin sacs as standard, and you can actually pay for regeneration on this guy as well, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend that. It's fairly expensive, and you've also got your feeder beast anyway. You can take the Thresher Tail, which gives you an extra attack, but it's obviously just a strength 4 attack, and that's your main stats. Now, one reason why I didn't buy this particular model when it first came out was without a transport, without the drop pod, it's pretty difficult to use this guy because it's all about being in close combat, and you're going to have to walk him across the field. Now, just like all of these type of monstrous creatures, although they obviously have a good amount of wounds and toughness 6 and a 3+ save, sounds really good, but it's basically ideal missile launcher type targets. You know, your missile launchers, your las cannons, your grav cannons, they're all going to be coming into this guy as it makes its way across the board, and it's just not going to see the light of day in close combat. Now, unlike the Tervigon, which has fairly similar stats, a bit more of a defensive model, okay, the Tervigon isn't that great at shooting still, but it obviously can spawn out stuff, and you can obviously make a troop choice, etc. This guy just doesn't have anything. I mean, it doesn't really shoot. It's purely designed for close combat. So it didn't work before, but now we have the drop pods, the Tyrannocytes. Makes this guy potentially a little bit more usable. Now, obviously, you are going to have to weather one turn of shooting. You know, once you drop down, but if you're able to do that, a little bit like the Carnifex in a pod, not necessarily the greatest choice, but if you are able to weather the first round of shooting, and you are able then to get it into the assault, then that's obviously, at least you're there, so you don't have to run across the board. So how good is he in the assault? Well, he has 4 attacks on the charge, reasonable. But the thing to bear in mind is he is only weapon skill 3, so after you've 4 attacks, you're going to need 4, so you're probably only going to get 2 dice through. And although he's obviously a high toughness, so he's going to be wounding on 2, so you're going to wound probably a couple of Space Marines. Now yes, he does have the hunger special rule, so every time you make a wound, you can immediately make extra attack. So if you kill 2 Space Marines, you are then able to have another couple of dice. But again, you need 4s to get the to get the hits. So again, you're probably only going to kill another guy. So this guy at best on the charge is probably just killing 3 Space Marines. Not that great for a huge monstrous creature that's supposed to be close combat orientated. Yeah, here's fun. Model looks pretty cool. I wouldn't necessarily say he's the best monstrous creature to take for your points, but I wouldn't necessarily rule him out. I think he is usable, especially in more fun games. But yeah, he's definitely not the most optimum monstrous creature, let's say. It's going to be interesting when we take a look at his alternative ego in the kit, the Exocrine, because slightly nicer stats in there. But that's it for him. Watch out for the next one. It's going to be a fun one. We're going to be looking at the Pyrovore. Yeah. More to come.